Hello friends, welcome to my channel. This is Charan. In this video I will show you in ASP.NET using C# how to bind data from database into a list view control. And notice here we got the final output. We are binding the data from database into this list view control. If you are a first time visitor to my channel, please subscribe to get the latest updates. For this video tutorial, I have created a new application. Notice in this webform 1.aspx page contains a simple HTML code with some header tags h1, h2 and horizontal line. Now after the horizontal line, I am adding a list view control. Open toolbox, minimize the standard folder, and I am expanding the data folder. In this data folder there is a list view control. I am adding that one. And here we got the list view control. Now let's bind the data into this list view control. Right click the mouse, go to view code. In the code behind, the first thing I'm adding using system.data SQL client, and the last namespace I'm adding using system.configuration. After adding these three namespaces, the next step, I am adding the connection string in these data connections. Right click the data connections, choose add connection, and in the server name I am adding my SQL server name. After adding server name, now I am selecting the database name. SampleDB is my user database. I am selecting that one. Click OK. And here we got the sampledb.dbo is added under data connections. Now we require this sampledb.dbo data source. For that, right click this sampledb.dbo, go to properties, and here in the properties under connection string there is a data source. Copy the data source, open Solution Explorer, open web.config file. In the web.config file, between configuration I am adding connection strings. Add name is equals to the connection string name is my connection, and connection string I'm adding the data source which I have copied. Provider name is system.data.SQL client. After adding the connection string in the web.config file, again switch back to the code behind. Now after the page load, let's create a function private void get list view. Now inside this get list view method, I'm adding string main con is equals to configuration manager.connection strings. Between double quotes, I'm adding the connection string name which is my connection. Just copy this my connection and add between the double quotes dot connection string. SQL connection, SQL con is a object, new SQL connection main con I'm adding. After that, string SQL query is equals to, here the SQL command type is select statement. I want to retrieve the data from SQL Server database. Now before adding the select statement, let's visit the SQL Server database. We'll check the table and the column names I want to bind in the list view. The table name is the EMP table which contains 5 columns: EMP ID, EMP name, designation, department and joining date. Let's add the table name. Select, start from, the table name is EMP table. After that, let's open the connection string SQL con.open method. The next step, I'm adding SQL command object. SQL command, SQL com is the object is equals to new SQL command. The SQL command takes two parameters. The first one is the command text, which is the SQL query, comma. The second object is the connection string, which is the SQL con. SQL con SQL data adapter. SDA is equals to new SQL data adapter. I'm adding the SQL command object. After that, data table, DT is the object, new data table. Let's fill the SDA.fill method with the data table object. After that, let's bind the data into the ListView control. ListView 1, which is a ListView ID dot data source is equals to DT, comma ListView 1 dot data bind method. The final step, let's close the connection string SQL conduct close method. After that, when the page load, if not this dot is post back, this dot, I'm adding this function name get list view, this dot get list view function. When page loads, I want to bind this EMP table into this list view control, but in list view by default it does not display the records. Again, switch back to the source page. In the list view, I'm adding layout template. Inside this layout template, I'm adding the table border is equals to 1. Let's close the table. Let's add the headers tr table headers. First one is the EMP employee ID. We have 5 columns in the table, so next one is the employee name. The third column is a designation. The fourth one is a department, and the last one is a joining date. Join date. After that, after layout template, I'm adding item template. In this item template, I'm td table data percentage hash. After hash eval, let's add the column name, which is the EMP ID. We need to add the same column name. This one put in double quotes. Copy this one, paste. The second one is the employee name, EMP name, designation. The fourth column is a department, and the last column is joining date. Let's add that one. That's it. We have binded the columns from the EMP table into this list view column. Let's check the output, how it looks on the browser. Google Chrome. Notice when we run this application, we got an error, and this is the error we got. We need to place the data in an item placeholder. So let's fix this error. Stop the debugging. Actually, the code is correct, but in the list view, we need to add the 2 properties. The first property is a group placeholder ID, and the second property is item placeholder ID. Now let's add a new placeholders into the list view control. After the tr between table tr id is equals to the id I'm giving group placeholder run at server. After that, after layout template, we need to add the ID for the item placeholder. Let's add the template, group template. Close the group template. Now inside this group templates, I'm adding tr let's add the ID of this tr item placeholder run at server. Now let's add these placeholders, group placeholder, copy this one and paste here in the group placeholder ID, and in the item placeholder ID let's add this item placeholder, copy and paste. That's it. These are the two important properties when we want to bind data into a ListView control. Let's check the output. Google Chrome, and notice here we got the final output. We are binding the data from database into this ListView control. In my next video I will show you how to add the pagination to this ListView control using data pager control.